Folks, I love Beyonce, but she doesn't need a tax cut. And when we give Beyonce that tax cut that she doesn't need, that money has to come from somewhere. Hey y'all, it's your boy Richard Fowler. Over the past couple of weeks, months, years, we've heard this huge conversation about why we need more school choice and why school choice will solve all of America's public education problems. I've come tonight to tell you, school choice is not going to solve America's public education woes. So here's the big picture. Think about your public school as a 3-layered wedding cake. Layer 1, the big layer, is local funds. 45% of your public school is funded by local dollars, usually mostly from property taxes. The other 45% is money from the state. And the other 10%, roughly, is funded by the federal government from right here in Washington, D.C. That money is usually Title I dollars or monies that go to schools that have a majority of poor students or students who are differently abled. Now, let's break this down even more. So if you live in one of America's wealthy suburban counties, one of the closest wealthy counties is Fairfax. In Fairfax County, 55% of the monies that go to fund public schools comes from, you guessed it, local property taxes. So in a rural county like, well, let's take Mingo County, West Virginia, the local property taxes covers about 30 to 35%. The state chips in about 50 to 55%, and the federal government, rural school systems, as well as a lot of urban school systems around the country, rely heavily on state and federal dollars. So what does that mean? So as we are sitting here having this conversation, senators and members of Congress are debating Donald Trump's reconciliation bill, a bill that is slated to give tax giveaways to millionaires and billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Beyonce Knowles Carter, the Kardashians, and so many others. Folks, I love Beyonce, but she doesn't need a tax cut. And when we give Beyonce that tax cut that she doesn't need, that money has to come from somewhere. And when you hear lawmakers say we're going to trim the fat, here's what they actually mean. They're going to cut many of the programs that ensure that schools in rural communities and urban communities alike get the resources they need to succeed. So that means that 20% that is going to the schools in Mingo County, the city of Baltimore, or the city of Philadelphia, or the city of Detroit, those numbers are going to get a little bit smaller. And when those numbers get a little bit smaller, they begin to bleed, and the bleeding hurts big time. First, let's talk about rural school districts and why they're struggling. 1, low property value. 2, you have shrinking enrollment, so you have less per pupil funding. 3, you have high transportation costs. 4, you have aging infrastructure. In many of these places, some of these schools were built in the 1940s, the 1950s, and the 1960s. Thanks to Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan, many of these school systems got the money they needed to make desperately needed repairs. But now we're at a very, very critical juncture. As a result of this reconciliation bill, we're going to see some disastrous cuts happen to school systems across America. Number 1, Republicans are pushing this measure called ECA. What ECA would do is provide a federalized school voucher program. Let's pick on Beyonce Knowles Carter again, because I think she's a good example. Now, Beyonce and Jay-Z are probably paying full freight to send Miss Blue Ivy to one of these schools. If this reconciliation bill passes, Blue Ivy will get to go to one of these private schools, and Jay-Z and Beyonce will be able to get 100% tax credit. So not only them, but the Kardashians, as well as Elon Musk for his 13 children, and Jeff Bezos, and you name the rich person, all across this country. They will literally be sending their children to private school for free because the federal government will give them 100% tax credit. What they're doing is they're helping rich Americans get a tax shelter for money that they're already spending, sending their children and others to private schools. Only 35% of the recipients of said program were new enrollees in private schools, because most parents like their public school and they like the teachers in their public school. And what most parents, as well as what most teachers are asking for, isn't for more school choice. They're asking for the schools in their neighborhoods to work correctly. They want their schools to have more guidance counselors, more sports offerings, offer more than just Spanish and French as foreign languages. They want their schools to have greater investments. Because here's the truth. What has always made America great is that we've had a great public school system. The answer isn't to privatize our entire school system. The answer is to give the schools the resources they need so that they can be great public schools. Don't believe the hype here, folks. If we really want to ensure America's new golden age, let's spend that money investing in America's greatest resource. It's people, and it's youngest people. It's the youngest learners. Remember, our young people can't vote, so they're depending on us to do the right thing. See you later.